Run it back, nation. What is good? It is your boy DJ. So run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Algo gang, do your thing on the video. Hit the like button. That puts me higher in the YouTube algorithm or makes me show up more. Something like that. Just hit the like button, all right? Leave a comment. Doesn't matter what it is. Put your favorite emoji in there. It's all for the algo. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Or if you watch these videos and you're not subscribed, that's fraudulent behavior, and this is the no fraud zone. And turn your notifications on. If they're not working, turn them off, turn them back on. And remember, calculators down, watch ball. All right? Philadelphia 76ers hold on to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers last night, 118-112. And yes, they did have a 28-point lead, okay? And while we were watching the game, we were kind of making jokes about, are the Sixers going to blow this lead? Can we just kind of hang on to a lead and finish a game and make it nice and easy? The answer to that was no. They did blow a 28-point lead. The Cavs cut it kind of close towards the end of the game. But I wasn't that upset about it because it is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And part of the reason we blew that 28-point lead was Donovan Mitchell. And I honestly can't blame the blown lead on the Embiid-less minutes in this game. Just from watching it, we really didn't blow the lead when the bench came in. Honestly, the bench was extending the lead at one point in the second quarter when there was a Tyrese Maxey, Paul Reed, Jalen McDaniels lineup, and then Harden came in with Maxey, and there was some staggering and some mixing and matching, which I enjoyed from Doc Rivers. Honestly, the bench isn't what blew the lead in this game. We really blew the lead in the second quarter with Joel Embiid on the floor. The third quarter, when we started the third quarter, the Cavaliers went on a 13-0 run to start the third quarter. And the fourth quarter, also, Joel Embiid came back in the game with 7 minutes left, and the Cavaliers cut the lead again. So I can't even really blame it on the Embiid-less minutes in this game. Embiid was on the floor while the Cavs were making these runs. But I honestly, I wasn't that upset about it because it's the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it's Darius Garland, who is a very good point guard, and it is Donovan Mitchell. And at the end of the day, Donovan Mitchell has a 71-point game under his belt. He is a bucket. He's a bucket of all buckets. And when Donovan Mitchell gets hot, you better watch out. We tried different things in the third quarter when Donovan Mitchell really got on the roll and was really rolling. We tried some different things. We had Jalen McDaniels on him at one point, who I think is a great perimeter defender, by the way, for his length, the way that he moves at 6'10". You can say what you want about Matisse Thybulle's athleticism and some of the freakish athletic plays that Matisse Thybulle makes, but I think you might be able to make the argument that Jalen McDaniels is a more consistent on-ball defender. But even he was getting kind of cooked by Donovan Mitchell at points in the third quarter, and they went on the runs that they went on, and it's part of ball. Teams make runs. When you're playing a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have a player like Donovan Mitchell combined with a point guard like Darius Garland and some shooters, they are going to go on runs. So I'm just happy that we squeaked it out. If it was against the Houston Rockets the other night, or the Orlando Magic, or the Charlotte Hornets, or the Detroit Pistons, I would probably be more annoyed than I am. The fact that it's the Cleveland Cavaliers, 4th seed in the East, they were trying to take the 3rd seed from us, or tie us for the 3rd seed with this win. So this is one of those where I will say a win is a win. Any way you get in the W column is a good one. So I was happy about it. And the end of the game, Joel Embiid played bully ball, did what he had to do the last 5 minutes of the game to put it home. And Joel Embiid's interesting this season because we know that he's load managing throughout the season. We know that. Our goal is to get into the playoffs and finally have a healthy Joel Embiid. So, when he takes plays off or he goes through games and looks like he's not engaged or looks like he doesn't care, I think we just have to take it with a grain of salt. I really do. I overreact all the time. Again, that's how I got my following on YouTube, was by overreacting and being the absolute just maniac and maniacal psychopath that I am when I'm not happy with what I see on the screen. with this basketball team. But I think we got to take a step back and realize that we're just trying to get to the playoffs healthy. That's what we're doing. I said at the beginning of the season I would take 40 games from Joel Embiid and be completely content with it as long as he's healthy for the playoffs. So it is what it is. There's going to be ups and downs throughout the season. There's going to be games that you lose that you should win. There's going to be games where the effort isn't there and you're frustrated and annoyed that there's million-dollar athletes out here jogging around not boxing out. And there was a couple points in this game where I saw that from Joel Embiid also. You know, I saw him get beat on the boards by Evan Mobley a couple of times where he just flat out didn't box out. One towards the end of the game where the Cavs cut it to 10, I think. We extend the lead with the Tyrese Maxey 3, and then the Cavs come down. McDaniels is playing good defense at the rim, and Joel allows an offensive rebound just flat out by not boxing out, and that turns into a three-pointer for the Cavs. So there definitely were some plays in this game that were annoying, but at the end of the day, Joel Embiid did what he had to do to win the game, and when it really mattered, when we got down to the last 3, 4, 5 minutes, he knew what he had to do, and he did it. He finished the game with 29 points and 14 rebounds. He went through. Here's how Joel kind of went through this game. I felt like the beginning of the game, he looked right at Jarrett Allen. He said, "You can't guard me. The best poster of my career is on you. You are my child. I own you, and I'm going to put you under the rim." And Joel Embiid, from the beginning of the game, was literally putting Jarrett Allen's body under the rim, and he couldn't stop him. And there's times where he had to completely bear hug him under the rim, which, by the way, all you idiots that want to say free throw merchant or look how many free throws he shot, put the calculators down, watch games. You have to foul him. If Joel is putting your only center, your defensive center, by the way, a good defensive center, this is how dominant Joel Embiid is. There is a good defensive center on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Joel Embiid was treating him like a 12-year-old child at basketball camp. He was just shoving him under the rim and putting the ball in the hoop with no resistance, and he had to foul him. He's grabbing him, he's slapping him, everything. And then second quarter, third quarter, Joel starts to kind of take a step back. He's relying more on jump shots. He's playing more on the perimeter. There was definitely a period in that third quarter when the Cavs made that run that I didn't like the Sixers' offense. There was a stagnancy to it. Is that a word? Stagnancy? Where we're just giving the ball to Joel. Everybody's standing around, and Joel's trying to create from the perimeter, and I was annoyed by that. But when it mattered the most, end of the game, guess what Joel Embiid did? He did exactly what he did in the beginning of the game, which was take the ball and put Jarrett Allen under the rim and put the ball in a hoop, because Jarrett Allen and Dean Wade and these guys can't guard him, and he knew that, and he took care of business. So I was happy about it. James Harden started out the game hot. He had 8 points in the first 7 minutes. He had 6 assists in the first 7 minutes. He cooled off throughout the game. He finished with 19 points and 12 assists. Made a couple of big shots when we needed him to make shots. Not a earth-shattering performance from James Harden by any means, but he leads the NBA in assists. And he continues to put up 12 assists like it's nothing. That's becoming normal. 12 assists for a point guard would be something to write home about. But with James Harden being James Harden, 12 assists is normal. You know what I mean? Tyrese Maxey gave you 16 off the bench. Did his thing, got into some rhythms, went on a little bit of scoring runs by himself when you really needed him to go on some scoring runs. And that was a good thing. The main thing I took away from this game was right here. Dwayne Dedmon and Montrezl Harrell, DNP coach's decision. So for the third game in a row, Paul Reed plays all of the backup center minutes for the Sixers. And Daryl Morey goes out after in the buyout market and signs Dwayne Dedmon. We still don't really know why he did that, because Dwayne Dedmon is a cooked product and is no longer serviceable in the NBA. But he signed him, so I was nervous that Doc was going to play Dwayne Dedmon tonight. He did not play Dwayne Dedmon, and he did not play Montrezl Harrell. So is Doc Rivers, is Glenn Anton Rivers looking at teams and matchups and actually saying, you know what, the Cavaliers, with this athletic lineup that they have of Karis LeVert, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, length, athleticism, Okoro, I gotta match that with length and athleticism. Is Doc Rivers actually making that decision now? Is he actually saying, I can't put Montrezl Harrell on the floor against these dudes? Paul Reed, again, 9.5 minutes at backup center and played a relatively serviceable game. He was a +3 in the plus-minus department. He had 5 points, 4 rebounds, an offensive rebound, 2 blocks. He doesn't have any steals in the steal department, but there was just plays where he was diving on the floor, just creating havoc for the other team. And again, these 3 players on the floor at the same time is hell for NBA offenses. DeAnthony Melton, Jalen McDaniels, Paul Reed. Those 3 players on the floor is hell for NBA offenses. And I just think the combination of adding Jalen McDaniels and Glenn Anton Rivers consistently playing Paul Reed is a winning formula for the Philadelphia 76ers. It is a winning formula. Their bench has been their issue the whole season. Their lack of athleticism off the bench, their lack of athleticism and rebounding and perimeter defense off the bench has been a negative this whole season. And now you slide in Jalen McDaniels and you continue to play Paul Reed at the backup center. Now you have length and athleticism coming off the bench, high energy, creating havoc for the offense, for the other team's offense, steals, rebounds, fast breaks, transition. It looks great. It looks great right now. Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. Glenn Rivers did say yesterday he's going to rotate Dwayne Dedmon in his backup center rotation of Montrezl Harrell and Dwayne Dedmon, which doesn't make any fucking sense. And by the way, there's no backup center rotation. There's no backup center rotation. I don't know why Glenn keeps saying this. There's no backup center rotation. The rotation is Doc Rivers hates Paul Reed. He puts him on the bench. He plays Montrezl Harrell for a month. Montrezl Harrell gets his ass kicked for a month until the fan base wants his head on a stick, and then he benches Montrez and plays Paul Reed for a month to make everybody happy, and then Paul Reed makes a mistake and he goes back. That's Glenn's backup center rotation. It's ridiculous. And I still have absolutely no faith in Glenn Rivers doing the right thing in the end at the end of the day. But right now, he's been doing the right thing for a couple of games. And the formula for the 76ers right now off the bench is Paul Reed, Jalen McDaniels, and Tyrese Maxey. If you look at the 8-man rotation and you look at the playoffs, I think this is the best 8-man rotation for the 76ers. The starting lineup of Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, Joel Embiid, DeAnthony Melton, and James Harden. And off the bench, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen McDaniels, and Paul Reed. And we know teams go to 8, 9-man rotations in the playoffs. George Niang, 41% three-point shooter, yes, but lacks athleticism, lacks speed, can't close out on the perimeter, can't rebound in the NBA, can't guard anybody near the rim. So moving towards the playoffs, I would like to see less George Niang on the floor just because you're going to get your ass kicked on the boards and at the rim. Shake Milton, he's Shake Milton. I know we overrate him sometimes. At the end of the day, he's a high-level G League player. I've never been crazy about Shake. I don't think he's some kind of, Jordan Clarkson or some kind of player off the bench that's something to really write home about. He's just a guy that's there. I think he's a good ball handler. I think he's methodical and patient in the pick and roll. I think he's serviceable. But in the playoffs, if you can get more of a facilitating kind of game out of Tyrese Maxey, then I think, Tyrese Maxey should probably be your backup point guard off the bench in the playoffs. And I think if Glenn can just rotate and stagger James Harden and Tyrese Maxey and keep one of those players on the floor at all times, you can get away from Shake Milton. And with the addition of Jalen McDaniels and playing Paul Reed, I think you can also get away from George Niang. And, we'll just see what happens moving forward with these lineups. But the lineup Doc is going with right now looks really good. Really good. And yeah, they blew a 28-point lead. Again, Donovan Mitchell went on some runs. The Cavs went on some runs. The Sixers offense got stagnant. One of the things they do that they've always done is force the ball to Joel, and there's no cutting, there's no action around him. Players should be moving on the perimeter. There should be cuts to the basket. I think Jalen McDaniels will be a great cutter to the basket when Joel has the ball in the post. We'll have to see if they start implementing those kind of lineups. I don't think we've seen a lot of McDaniels on the floor with Embiid, but I really liked what I saw last night. The lineup with McDaniels and playing Paul Reed at backup center is a nice, sizable, athletic lineup that can compete with a lot of NBA teams. This is 100% up to Glenn Rivers at this point. And at the end of the day, he's going to shoot us in the foot. But last night was good. We'll see if he keeps it up. You guys got any other points to make? Anything you want to throw out there? Let me know in the comments. Sixers get the dub over the Cavs. Yeah, they blew a 28-point lead, but it's the Cavs. It's Donovan Mitchell. As long as they got the W in this game, I was happy. We hold on to the 3rd seed, and we keep it moving. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day.